जाने ना इस प्यार की गहराई, इन आँखों की गहराई। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। कोई जाने ना इस प्यार की गहराई, इन आँखों की गहराई। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन। झील कहो पर उसको भी है तल, जिनके आगे सागर भी ओझल। सूर्य प्रकाश भी हो जाए ओझल, तुलना से भी ऊपर उठ गया इन नैनों का स्तर। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। जैसे सरिता सागर में जाए धुल, निर्मल मंगलता में गए हम घुल। भूत भविष्य की चिंता गए हम भूल। सुगंधमय इस चेतना में निखरे हैं ये फूल। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। आंसू झरझर बह निकले, अनुकंपा जब जाती घटा बन। सुन लो इन नैनों से कभी हितकारी मीठे सच खरे बैन। जीवन का सब सत्व है इनमें, जीवन का सब सत्व है इनमें। खुद को कर दो पूर्ण समर्पित, सब कुछ लुटा दो पाने को। सब कुछ लुटा दो पाने को इन आँखों का अनमोल रतन। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। कोई जानना इस प्यार की गहराई, इन आँखों की गहराई। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन, जिनसे मिला ये अमृतमय चैन। प्यार भरे ये दो निर्मल नैन।
A very good morning to all of you on our show this morning, on our session this morning. As you all are aware that we are having these sessions daily, 3 times. One in the morning at 8 a.m., one in the afternoon at 4:15, and another one in the evening at 7:45 p.m. And the reason behind these sessions is really to introduce new seekers to Sahaja Yoga, give them a brief understanding of what Sahaja Yoga is, about our internal subtle system, and also the most important bit of getting self-realization through an experience right now. So we have these sessions normally in Hindi language. Only on Saturday morning we have one session in Marathi, and on Sunday morning we have one session in English for seekers who requested to understand this in their own languages or the languages that they understand. Apart from this, we have one session that is going on daily as well at 5:30 p.m. on basically this is for seekers who have now understood the basics of Sahaja Yoga and want to go deeper into meditation in large collective that attends this session. The really the YouTube channel that we have and the Zoom link, all of this is non-monetized. There is no angle of having any sort of benefits other than the benefit of sharing it with others. That is how Sahaja Yoga has really worked out till now, where it has been just normal people living in their households like us and sharing it with others that they know of. This method started off during COVID when we had some people asking, that we want to learn about this, and we started a Zoom link, and now the YouTube channel has so many thousands of people, and we have so many sessions going on. So, what we'll do now, very briefly, to talk about is just have a brief introduction about what Sahaja Yoga is, how it is different, what is to be expected, and then a little bit of discussion on our internal subtle system, and then the most important bit of the meditation session, which will have the experience of self-realization. Post that, if you have any questions, you want to share something, you can join the Zoom link, or you can come on the YouTube chat and leave your questions, comments, etc. We'll try and answer them in the session itself. So without any further ado, let's start the session today. Sahaja Yoga was started by Shree Mataji Nirmala Devi, whose photograph you can see right behind me, in 1970. The idea behind Sahaja Yoga was to make this amas, you can call it awakening. Up until now, yoga has been there, talked about self-realization, Kundalini awakening very secretively in very small patches of people who were 1 in a million or so who got their realization, and they would give it to one person. Shree Mataji was figuring out the way to give it amas. And then she saw some fake gurus taking wrong advantages of people and taking them to wrong places. That's when, on 5th of May 1970, she decided that now is the time. That's when she opened the Sahasrara and opened a way for all of us to get our realization. She started off with one lady who got her realization, and then she worked with 7 people in London because her husband, Sir C.P. Srivastava, who was the head of International Maritime Organization, was placed in London. And then slowly and gradually it moved to other nations, European nations and US and all the other nations. Of course, India was the heart of it. Now Sahaja Yoga has been practiced across 150 countries. And as he said, there's no monetary angle to it. Shree Mataji has always stressed that there can be no money taken for something that is so vital and so divine. There's really no cost that you can account to something like this. So, what is it that realization means? What is it that we have to expect out of yoga? The word yoga comes, it's a Sanskrit word that literally means the union. This is the first thing that all of us should understand, that when we talk of yoga, we are very confused these days. Yoga literally means the union of ourself with the divine. Now, that cannot happen with any external thing, by any activity, because this is really, all of this is our doing. The connection with divine happens by the divine's grace, not by our standing on our heads or by reading books or doing any sort of activities that will, you know, so that's the most important bit for us to understand, because we think that we have to do penances, we have to do tapasyas and all of that. Let's look at, the past when people used to do these kind of things. What was the meaning of that? For example, Patanjali talked about Ashtanga yogas in our country. A realized soul himself. Sorry for that. So we're talking about people who would do penances in the past and then get their realization. So that question remains in our hearts, that we being household folks doing, our jobs, taking care of our household lives, how would we get it? But the past that we know of is, when we were talking about Patanjali Yoga, let's say. So they had, many parts of it, Ashtanga yogas, where you would go through various things which would correct you physically, which would have asanas also, which would have several things to put your mind in the right place. And at the end, when Guru decides, out of many, many people who would come to him, maybe he would choose one to get their realization. So that was the way of first correcting everything and then putting everything all right across even lives and then getting their realization. Now we're living in these times that we call as Kalyug, and we think that there's no end to the wrong things that are out there in the world, and we have so many things to take care of in our lives, and so many people born in normal households who are very, very confused these days and leading lives that can be so demanding and difficult and confusing, and people are so they're so troubled right now. So all of those are, if we are to say that this is the only way, when you do penances you get your realization and that's how you get to a higher self, then all of us who are suffering from so much, are we to be left alone? This is what the God's plan is. That's not true. The time, Shree Mataji says, has come, which she calls as the blossom time. Earlier, whenever evolution happens, let's say one-odd fish would have come to the shores and maybe would have taken the reptile form. Later on, many would have come, and then thousands and millions. That's how it works out. Earlier, we had one or two flowers on this tree of life, some here, there, across ages. Now, time has come, Shree Mataji says, when all of us have to get it. The one great Nal Damayanti Akhyan we have, which talks about this, where Raja Nal was separated from his wife Damayanti by Kali, who we know as whose time is now Kali. And it is said that the king got hold of Kali and said that I'll finish you off because your times will come and we'll suffer so much. So what's the point of having you? Then Kali told him, yes, king, go ahead. You are right. But you must know one importance of mine. And he said that when my time will come, when Ghor Kali will come, people will be in so much bhranti and confusion. They will be searching for God. That is the time when normal household people will get their self-realization and get their Atma Sakshatkar. This has been promised in many scriptures actually. If you look at any religion, there has been a talk of a future time when we'll get a resurrection, Kayama. In Hindu religion, of course, there's been so much talk about self-realization, and a time when even 14,000 years ago, Markandeya Rishi talked about this. His book was translated in the recent past, but even the year that he's mentioned of people getting realization in their households is 1970 by our current calendars. So this has been there, the talk has been there, but there has to be something. Now we have so many, so many folks, maybe they could be religious folks or gurus all around us, and we don't know how to figure out what is it that we have to expect. And if this person is talking about something, does this have some basics or some basing in our past scriptures? Because we have lost all that. We have lost the great traditional knowledge, we can say, or the heritage that we have of the spiritual knowledge in our country. The time has come, as Shree Mataji says, for all of us to get it. And in a way, it is like first getting the light in this lamp and then figuring out what all is wrong with it. So what happens when you get a realization in Sahaja? We start feeling the experience of realization on our central nervous system. We essentially feel the first experience is of a cool breeze. It is called as Param Chaitanya. Adi Guru Shankaracharya has talked of it in his book called Saundarya Lahari. So beautiful vibrations he names it, which are really the cool breeze and the Param Chaitanya. He says that when Mother's grace dawns upon us, we feel Salilam Salilam Chaitanya, which means a little cool breeze. In Bible it said that you'll feel the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. In Quran it said that when Qiyamah's time will come, your hands will speak and will give witness against you. So that witnessing actually happens for the first time. We know which chakras inside us are not okay on the fingertips. We know for sure what is not right with us, what is to be corrected. And then using these vibrations that flow through us, we can correct them ourselves. People have been cured of the most incurable diseases that we can think of in Sahaja Yoga. Many instances personally we have seen. You can also give realization to others. So you can see, if you're sitting here in India, you can see the vibrations of somebody in US and check what's wrong with that person. You can take absolute decisions by these vibrations, by asking whether we should do this or not. If a person comes in front of you and claims to be God, what can you do? There's no way for you to figure out, because we have seen past instances where gods have taken incarnations and they look just like us. For the first time, we get those eyes to really know who's a divine person, who's not, who's being a fraud, who's really a realized soul. For as of now, we don't have a visibility to that world completely. All of that opens up to us once we get our realization and we meditate and practice. So this is a completely new awareness that comes to us that has yet been missing, that we have still not got. So Kabira used to say, "Kaise samjhaun sab jag andha." The whole world is blind. How do I explain? The world is now going to get those eyes through which they can see. What happens when you get a realization? When we say that this Param Chaitan starts flowing through us, it corrects all our chakras. It puts us into balance. It brings even our normal life, that we think of, maybe even monetary life, or our careers, or our family lives, or all of that comes into balance. It's not that we become super rich or something like that, but whatever is missing, which is like benevolent for us, that comes to us, and we get all the boons of God Almighty and His grace falling upon us. So whatever we think right now is our trouble, really, we are so perturbed with those things, which are causing so much confusion in our lives. All of that slowly and gradually gets settled down, because we're talking about connecting with God, His power flowing through us, and we feel that power on our central nervous system, on our hands. For sure, for the first time, we know that we are connected with the divine. Up until now, we've been hearing of Him, but never really connected with Him. What we'll do now is briefly talk about our internal subtle system. That is who we are from the inside. We all look very different from the outside, and that's how we think we are so separated. But God created us in a very similar image from the inside. A chart will appear now in front of our screens. So when we were in our mother's womb, the power that created us, whatever name we call it by, entered through our fontanelle bone area. When we were small little kids, this was a soft spot at the top of our head. Ayush, if you can put up the chart, it will help. This is the place from where the power entered inside us and created all the chakras and nadis inside us. Because our brain is a prism-shaped entity, the energy gets refracted into three parts majorly. The one coming from right goes to the left, which is in the blue. The one coming from left goes to the right, which is in the yellow. The one in the center creates all of these chakras, these 7 main centers that we have. There are many other chakras and nadis, but these are the main 3 and 7. And the power that is left, that is the residual energy, comes and settles down at almost the very end of our spine, which is a bone called sacrum bone. The Greeks named it sacrum, which means that they knew there is something sacred about this. So in the sacrum bone, this energy comes and settles down. When it settles, it creates coils, 3.5 coils, which is why it is called as kundal, because in Sanskrit, kundal means coils. This is the mother power. She is our individual mother who has been with us all our lives. She knows everything about us, and her sole aim is to give us our second birth, which is our self-realization. This concept of second birth has been there in our Hindu religion from the past, when a Brahmin has been called as Dvijaha. Brahmin means somebody who's known the Brahma, who knows the divine. Dvijaha is also the name for a bird, which means twice born. Dvijaha, twice born. It comes out as an egg, and then it breaks out and it sees what the world is really. Similarly, right now we are in this eggshell format. We have to get a realization and get this breakthrough to see what the world is real. Now, to talk about these 3 channels very briefly, The one in the blue is called as the Ida Nadi. It is the channel of our past. All our past is stored here. All our emotions. So our emotional being is sort of controlled by the Ida Nadi. All our emotions emanate from this channel left side. All our desires also emanate from the Ida Nadi. This is also called as the moon channel. When people get very, very emotional, too emotional, or think too much of the past all the time, they are working too much on this channel. And this channel gets very cold for such people and it results into problems which could be psychosomatic diseases and things like that, depression, etc. So in Sahaja Yoga, we understand that overutilization of anything leads to problem. Ati sarvatra varjate. So when we overuse any chakra or nadi, we create problems for ourselves. This channel we can feel on the left hand palm in meditation. We'll feel the status of this channel. Similarly, on the right hand side that we see in yellow is a channel called as Pingla Nadi. This is the channel of the sun. This is the channel of our future. This is the channel of all our activity, whether it be physical or mental activity. So people who are always thinking of the future too much, very futuristic folks, very aggressive, I will do this, I will do that, I need this, maybe very career oriented, and things like that. Such people work too much on this channel. People who may be doing too much table or desktop work and things like that may also be working too much on this because they have to plan a lot and work a lot. So this being the sun channel gets heated up a lot and we develop several diseases because of that. We feel the status of this channel on the right palm. People on the left hand side oppress themselves, people on the right hand side aggress others. Both are not okay. In the center is what we call as the Sushumna Nadi. This is the path for the Kundalini to rise and pierce through our Sahasrara to give us our realization. This is the central path, the path of the present. We have heard that, at least Buddha has talked about it a lot, that we have to remain in the center. What did that mean? That meant that we have to remain in balance. People who are leading balanced, normal lives get their realization very quickly because they are on the right path already. So that is why in meditation also, first we have to put ourselves into balance and then we go into meditation. Now, to talk briefly about these chakras inside us, all the gods and goddesses that are described, whatever religion it be, all of them reside inside us. On these chakras, nadis, they are controlling everything about us. And when we go against their qualities, these chakras get harmed and we may develop physical or mental or emotional problems because of that. So we'll not talk about the deities because shortage of time, but quickly touching upon the qualities of the chakras. The first one at the very end is what is called as Mooladhara chakra. This is the first center sitting below the Kundalini. So the job of Mooladhara chakra is to tell Kundalini that yes, there is someone authorized in front of us. And Mother, now you may rise. Mooladhara chakra's main qualities are innocence and wisdom. So people who are going against innocence could be people who are um, uh, not uh, taking sex in the right terms or going very aggressive in pursuing wrong things in terms of sex, or people who are also very cunning and conniving and taking advantage of others. Because an innocent person does not think of these things. It's like a child. And what you call as bhola admi. So one has to be really innocent to have a very strong muladhar. Once you have a strong muladhar, you get pure wisdom. You know what is right, what is wrong. You get the buddhi, the intelligence, and the wisdom. Especially in kids, in children, if the chakra is awakened, they lead a very beautiful life. They take the right decisions in their lives. This chakra is felt on this point, which is really the point where our wrist meets our palm, here on both sides. Every chakra has three parts to it, left, right, and center. They're caught because of various different reasons, but we'll talk of the main ones right now. So we'll take note of the positions of these chakras on our palms, because in meditation we can feel the chakra is not okay. After this, in yellow, we can see is called as Swadhisthana chakra. This uh, we can see that the quality written here is creativity. All our work that is we are doing in life becomes more dynamic when this chakra is awakened. All our creative powers also come from this chakra. All art forms, etc., emanate from the Swadhisthana chakra. On the left hand side is the pure knowledge. So when we go to, let's say, somebody's gone to some tantrikas or something like this chakra will be in a very bad shape, because that is the impure knowledge. Here we are talking of the divine tantra. On the right hand side is we can see that the yellow channel starts from the Swadhisthana chakra. And that means that all our activity actually we are doing from this chakra, whether it be mental activity or anything else. So all our mental activity requires the gray cells quite a lot in our brain. That is supplied, in fact, by the Swadhisthana chakra. So Swadhisthana chakra converts the fat cells into gray cells, and that is how we keep thinking. So that means that we are actually thinking from our stomach. So when people are thinking too much, planning too much, they're using up the Swadhisthana chakra a lot. And this chakra is not able to take care of the other organs like liver, spleen, pancreas, and whatnot that it has to take care of. And thus, this chakra goes out of order. We develop several diseases. You'll find that people who are very stressed in offices are the ones who may get liver troubles. People who think and plan a lot may be the ones who get diabetes and things like that. All of this can be put right when the Kundalini awakens and this chakra is put back into balance. We can feel the Swadhisthana chakra on both our thumbs. After this, in green, we can see the Nabhi chakra. This is the navel center right behind our navel. It's also called as Manipur chakra. This is the chakra of complete benevolence, you can say. For example, any part of our life, whether it be monetary or household, and all of that is taken care of by this chakra. When people have troubles with their family lives, this chakra may be caught up. When people have trouble monetarily, this chakra may be caught up. People who are all the time thinking of their careers and are unable to figure out how to grow and frustrated with that is also one of the reasons this chakra may be caught up. Miserly people catch on this chakra a lot. In terms of the qualities, so people become very generous, gracious when the chakra is awakened, and they are very great hosts to all of the people coming to their homes. One great quality that comes because of Nabhi chakra inside us is the seeking. So we start seeking at the animal stage in terms of, let's say, food, shelter, etc. At human stage, when we are seeking money, power, love, etc. All of that seeking ultimately leads us to seeking God, because we realize that none of this gives us the joy that we are truly searching for. So that great boon of the chakra is that we ultimately move towards seeking God. We feel this chakra in the middle fingers on left and right side. Around this is what we call as the Bhavsagar, which is called as void here. You've heard the reference of Bhavsagar several times. This is the place of dharma inside us, the true religion, which is not Hindu, Muslim, Islam, or Christianity or Sikhism, anything, but the true religion that has been built inside us across the ages by various gurus, prophets that have come on this earth at different points of time, in different geographies, and their teachings look different to us because they spoke according to the times and people they were speaking to. But they are all the same, and we accept and worship in Sahaj Yoga all of them because we know for sure that they are there. In Sahaj Yoga, we don't accept anything blindfolded. We get the proof in terms of vibrations. When we when you get a realization, you will feel it yourself. So when this place of dharma is hurt, let's say we take to wrong gurus as gurus, then this chakra can be caught up. When we do things that were prohibited by these great prophets, then this chakra is caught up. For example, even taking alcohol can cause this. You can see it's very simply that people who start taking alcohol first they puke a lot, or if we see something very horrible happening, we can be puking. So that's because our dharma inside tells us this is not okay. We feel this around the center of our palm on both sides. After this comes the Anhat chakra, which is the chakra of the heart, we can say. This is right behind our sternum. And here resides the sense of security and confidence in us. That sense of security, if ever challenged or hurt, then we can get into some troubles here. So, for example, kids who are afraid a lot will be the ones who fall sick a lot. Women who may have some sense of insecurities from their husband or family may get breast cancer and things like that. So this is the place where we know that God is taking care of us. On the left hand side is the spirit here. What is the spirit? Atma is the reflection of Paramatma inside all of us. God Almighty is reflected in all of us here. It is always witnessing and watching what we are doing. Up until now, it has not been in our attention. But when we get our self realization, the spirit comes into our attention and it becomes the driver. This is also on the right hand side is the place for the ideals that have been created inside us that are of an ideal king, father, son, brother, and all of that. Let's say kids who may have asthma, maybe the ones who have not known their father, for example. So this is the place of the father principle on the right hand side, and the left hand side is the mother principle. We feel this chakra on the small little fingers on left and right side. After this comes the Vishuddhi chakra. This is right behind our throat, and this is the chakra of our communication completely. So our throat, nose, ears, tongue, lips, face, outer part, eyes, outer part, shoulders, and our hands. All of this are controlled by this chakra, which is essentially all of this is used for our communication. Through our communication, we become collective beings. When we first raised our heads, that is when we knew that we are collective beings. This chakra has several great qualities, and some of them are the witness state that comes into us. Because we know that we are part and parcel of the whole collective. When we truly know that, and that is not a mental projection, but when we truly know that is when we know that there's nothing that we are doing, it's being done by God Almighty. And we see all of it as a play, as a leela, as the world is. The chakra is caught up on the left hand side when we feel guilty a lot. So people who always blame themselves for even nothing at all, for very small things, they are the ones who get caught up on the left hand side quite a lot. And people who condemn themselves too much, they develop this chakra very badly. And such people, the biggest problem of Vishuddhi chakra catching is that the nerves that emanate from us here come to our hands. So we don't feel the vibrations on our hands, the chaitanya on our hands, if this chakra is caught up, which is very detrimental to Sahaja. On the right hand side, this chakra is caught up when we, let's say, aggress others a lot with our words. We shout a lot, boast a lot, we tell lies, or we use tobacco in any shape and form. All of those reasons can ruin this chakra. We feel the Vishuddhi chakra on the left and right side on our index fingers. After this comes the Agya chakra, which is right where we put the kumkumadi. This is inside our brain, an optic chiasma, which is really a crossing like this, like it's been shown here. And we can see that the three channels cross here, and there's a very small space left for the Kundalini to pass through. The main quality of this chakra is forgiveness. It's very easy for us to connect here because whenever we are very angry with others, our head catches up and we are sitting like this. And we are unable to forgive others. For lives, we are sitting and sitting with our grievances with others and not able to forgive. After this comes the two balloon-like things that are shown. These are ego and superego inside us. All of the actions that we do in our life, anything that we may do or achieve, leads to some amount of ego. And whatever learnings and conditionings we have leads to some amount of superego. This could be higher on one side or the other. So all the time, one or the other is aggressing, which means that the path for Kundalini to pass through is not open. When we forgive on the Argya Chakra, that is when Kundalini passes through and it eats up the ego and superego. Thus, the path opens up for it to pass through. We feel the Argya Chakra on both of our ring fingers, left and right side. After this, at the very end, the very last chakra is the Sahasrara Chakra, which literally means the 1,000 petal chakra. All chakras get integrated into Sahasrara when we are awakened. And we also are integrated with the divine. This is called as Brahmarandra, the whole to meet the Brahma. The Dasham Dwar, so many names given to it. When our realization happens, we start feeling the cool breeze coming to our hands and also at the top of our head here, just above the head. We feel it. So there is too much to talk about in Sahaja, about the theory part of it, but now we'll go into the actualization, the meditation experience. There are some steps to be seen before we do get into meditation so that we can understand what steps we have to take. These are essentially to balance ourselves out and help some of our chakras before we get our realization. So these would be now coming up on our screen. Ayush, if we can put the charts of the steps that we'll do in meditation. So we are made of 5 elements and we use them to cleanse ourselves out. There are various things that we do in Sahaja Yoga that help us, but we'll use some of those elements now. So in the first step, we'll keep the left hand open in our lap and put the right hand on the Mother Earth. So here we will do this step to cleanse our left channel. For now, you can see these steps with your eyes open. Later, we will do these steps with your eyes closed. So you can see the left hand open on a lap, right hand on the Mother Earth. Next step, we'll put the right hand in our lap and put the left hand towards the sky like this. Next step, we'll put both our hands on the Mother Earth. So these 3 steps were for balancing ourselves out. Next, we'll bring both our hands in our lap and do the next steps only with our right hand. Left hand would be open in our lap. The right hand is to be now placed on our heart. Again, we'll have some prayers and meditation. Then we'll place it on our forehead across and bend our head forward a little. Next, we'll place this hand at the back of our head and push back our head towards the sky. Left hand will be open in our lap as is. Last step, we'll push back our fingers completely and place the center of our palm at the top of our head and press it hard here. While pressing, we'll move the scalp along with our hand so that our scalp is moving in a clockwise direction. We'll have some prayers. These are all the steps that we have to do. It will hardly take 10 minutes. Now, the most important thing to understand here is that just by moving our hands and doing some prayers, we cannot achieve the highest thing that we're talking about here. This happening happens inside of us because of Shree Mataji. I always like to take this example. Shivaji Maharaj, whose guru was Ramdas Swami, once Shivaji Maharaj asked him that, how long does it take to get self-realization? He said, Rajan, Tatshan, that means that very second, just have to have somebody who can give it and somebody who can take it. Shree Mataji is here to give self-realization to us. Through her photograph, the vibrations emanate, which cause this great happening inside of us. We just have to become the ones who can take it very humbly. We'll sit down with our hands open in our lap and be pleasantly placed towards us. look at Shree Mataji's photograph with utmost respect and humility, and leave aside all thoughts, questions, doubts for now. We'll have only one thought, that we have to get our self realization and nothing else. While looking at Shree Mataji's photograph, we'll slowly close our eyes and not open them now until the end of meditation. We'll sit a little straight, not very straight, not slouching. If there's anything tight on our body, we'll loosen it. Take off our glasses if we are wearing. Now, we will do the steps that we had just seen. We'll keep the left hand open in our lap and put the right hand on the Mother Earth. This we are doing to cleanse our Ida Nadi and bring it into balance. We will pray, Mother, please take out all the impurities of our Ida Nadi through the Mother Earth. Mother, please take out all the impurities and negativities of my left channel through the Mother Earth. We will bring our attention to our left palm and see what is happening there on the fingers and at the center of our palm. Mother, please bring my Ida Nadi into complete balance. We'll bring the right hand back into our lap. Keep the right hand open in our lap and put the left hand towards the sky, bent from the elbow. Right hand open in our lap. Left hand bent from elbow towards the sky. This step we are doing for cleansing our Pingla Nadi. Here we have to pray, Mother, please take out all the impurities and negativities of my Pingla Nadi through the ether element. Mother, please bring my right channel into complete balance. Bring our attention on both the palms also and see what is happening here. Mother, please bring my Pingla Nadi into complete balance and take out all the impurities and negativities through the ether element. Now we'll place both the hands on the Mother Earth. Here you will pray, Mother, please bring me into complete balance. Whatever impurities, negativities, imbalances are still left in my Ida and Pingla Nadi, Mother, please take them out through the Mother Earth. Mother, please bring me into the balance, into the present, into the center. Bring both our hands back into our lap. Now, all the steps we'll do only with the right hand. Keep the left hand open in our lap as is. We'll place the right hand on our heart and press it a bit here. This is the place of the spirit inside us, the Atma. We have to say a great truth here. Mother, I am the pure spirit. This is the ultimate truth. We're not this body, this mind, these thoughts, this personality that we think of ourselves, but we are the pure spirit. So we say it with full confidence. Mother, I am the pure spirit. I am nothing but the pure spirit. That is the only eternal thing inside us. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Now we had seen that if we feel guilty a lot for nothing at all, we don't feel the vibrations on our hands. So we'll say, because we are the spirit, we are not guilty at all. So we'll say, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Say it with full confidence. Whatever wrong you may have done, you think you may have done, leave it to God to decide. God is the ocean of forgiveness and compassion. There's nothing wrong that we could have done that He cannot forgive. So we say, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Now we bring this hand to our forehead and place it across, press from both the sides, and bend our head forward. We bring our right hand to our forehead, place it across, press it from both the sides, and bend our head forward. Here we have to forgive everyone. We have seen that this chakra doesn't open up until we forgive. So we say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Don't need to think of anyone, don't need to remember anyone's name. Just in one shot, one blanket cover, we say that, Mother, I forgive everyone. We don't forgive, we don't do anything actually. Just play into the hands of people who have done us wrong. But when we forgive, we leave it to God Almighty. So we say that, Mother, I forgive everyone, myself included. Now we place this hand at the back of our head where we place the pillow and push back our head towards the sky. Here, for our own satisfaction, we have to once ask that, oh God, if knowingly or unknowingly we've done any mistakes against you, please forgive us. O God Almighty, O Lord, if I have done any mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, against you, please forgive me. We can bring the right hand back into our lap to rest it for a while. Now, the last step, we'll place the right hand at the top of our head on the fontanelle bone area. We'll place the palm and stretch our fingers back completely. Pull the fingers back and place the center of our palm at the top of our head and press it hard. We'll once again bend our head forward a little. While pressing, we'll move the scalp in a clockwise direction with our palm. Without removing the palm, we'll move it in a clockwise direction so that the scalp moves along with our palm while pressing. Here, we must ask for it. Without us asking for it, Shree Mataji cannot give us our self-realization. With utmost humility, with utmost respect, we have to ask that Shree Mataji, please give me my self-realization. We'll keep moving the hand when pressing and ask, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my Atma Sakshatkar. Mother, please give me my yoga, my union with the divine. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Stop moving the hand and bring it back into our lap. We'll keep our attention where the hand was and sit for meditation for a few seconds. Now, we will bring our attention to our hands that are open in our laps. At the very center of our palm, we may feel a cool breeze coming out of our palms, maybe in one hand or both the hands. This is a subtle feeling to start off, so we will look at it minutely. Also, we'll bring our attention to the tips of our fingers and see which ones are giving a tingling or unpleasant sensation, or if there is cool or hot vibrations on the fingers. So for some people, it may also get heavy. This is the state of our chakras that we feel. Now we'll bring the right hand once again at the top of our head where we had placed it on the fontanelle bone area and raise it a few inches just above our Sahasrara chakra. We'll raise it, bend our head forward and see if there's a cool breeze coming out of our head and touching our hand. We'll move the hand front and back, left, right and see. If we have not forgiven everyone, we may still feel hot. Similarly, we'll see now with the right hand back in our lap and we'll see with the left hand at the top of our head above the fontanelle bone area, just a few inches above. We'll move the hand left, right, front, back a bit and see if there's a cool breeze coming out of our head and touching our hand. Again, this can be a very subtle feeling, so we'll look at it very minutely. Now, in the last step, we'll put both our hands completely up towards the sky, elbows straight, palms open towards the sky, and we'll push back our head. Here we have to ask one of these three questions 3 times. Oh God, is this the Param Chaitanya? Is this the divine power of God that does everything? Is this the Brahma Chaitanya Ask any one of these questions 3 times. And answer. Your vibrations on hands will improve. We'll bring the hands back into our lap slowly. And once again, we'll keep our attention at the top of our head. And for a few seconds, sit in meditation. We'll slowly open our eyes and look at Shree Mataji's photograph. We will see that there are no thoughts right now. Even with our eyes open, we are in meditation. This is the first boon that we get through self-realization, is of thoughtless awareness, nirvichar chetna. We'll bring both our hands in a namaskar to Shree Mataji and our Kundalini Mother inside and thank them for this blissful experience. For those of us who have joined for the first or second time, we would request you to continue attending these sessions for some time so that this experience can be established. A lot of these things are new for us to really grasp. So we also get that understanding. Also, we have to meditate daily at home in the morning and in the evening to cleanse ourselves, to keep getting these vibrations which will improve us and our lives. And we have to do collective meditation once in a week. We have to go to centers that are near us in our cities and meditate in collectivity so that we grow even more. Again, there is no money taken or given there in those centers. There are various things to learn in Sahaja Yoga, how to meditate at home, etc. All of that you can learn by joining our WhatsApp groups and attending other sessions. How to do those, Ayush will now help us understand. Jai Shri Mataji. Ayush?
Jai Shri Mataji. Everyone is requested to join our WhatsApp groups to know more and get links about all the sessions. And you can ask your questions live chat box and Zoom. And you can talk to us personally by joining our Zoom meeting. Its link also shared in our description box. You can ask if you have any questions.
Ayush, if there are no questions, maybe we can just take Shri Mataji's permission and end the session.
Yeah, there are no questions. We thank Sri Mataji for this wonderful retiration program. Thank you so much, Shri Mataji. Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.